dragged anchor. Now I can tell we probably dragged about 200 yards. It's good job. We were in between that boat and that cat, right about there.
Good morning. It is like 7:30. Just getting some coffee going. We are going to head to Allen's, Pensacola today. We're in Manjack, and we're going to sail up there with some friends, do some fishing and lobstering. It should be a fun trip. Yeah, that's kind of it. So there are a few things that we do before we go sailing. The first one is we check all of our systems. So we make sure the navigation, the depth, the radar, the auto helm are all working. So that's kind of the first thing that we do. And then we make sure our charger's out. For our navigation, we use an iPad with Navionics on it, and then we also use a Bad Elf to give it GPS. So want to make sure the chargers and things are out for that. So we get all that ready. We're also going to do an engine check, so we'll just make sure everything looks okay, and then we'll also check the oil. And then we're on our way. But very important to do certain things before you go. You don't want to get all the way out of the anchorage and discover you have no navigation equipment, or your engine is sounding really weird, which could happen anyway, let's be honest. But it's important to kind of keep up on all that stuff, because if you don't, then that's when you run into problems. You'll run into problems regardless. But if you don't keep up on your maintenance and kind of don't check everything before you go, then you might raise your likelihood of encountering problems. What a beautiful day for a sail. Look at this. It's gorgeous. A little light on the wind, but everything else is perfect. Well, a little change of plans, which often happens while sailing. The buddy boat we're with today, Karen and Bert, they're having a little bit of problem with their engine, so they're trying to get it working. We're actually going to anchor in Powell Key and see if we can't get it going and working again. So we'll see from there.
We are heading into the northwest anchorage.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going like in the big horseshoe area, or the 90-degree elbow.
That's correct. That's where we're heading.
Fine. See you there.
Copy that. Back to 16. All right. Well, we took the sails down and we hit the motor, so we're just gonna pull into this nice pretty little anchorage, which we were gonna come to in a couple days anyway, and we'll see what happens with their boat. Okay, so ran over there in the dinghy and got the update. So their prop shaft had come out of their transmission block. Yeah. So luckily, so I think they just had it serviced, and whoever had serviced it maybe just didn't do that great of a job, and they didn't check. But luckily, they caught it right away. They went down the engine compartment. They found all their bolts and their nuts. So that's good. So now they're just sticking their shaft back in their box. And we're gonna just hang out here tonight. So rather than trying to make it all the way up to Allen's, Pensacola.
After our change in plans, the guys decided to go fishing, and Dan made a rare appearance in the galley to cook up their catch.
How's that spice snapper, Dan?
That's good.
Life on a boat, and life is good.
Scale of 1 to 10, guys.
11.
Woo!
Bert.
8.5.
Grizzly Bahama. 8.5. Okay. 8.5. That's pretty good coming from Birdie Bahama.
good.
Bahama Bert.
As it always seems with sailing, our plans have changed a little bit. We're kind of pulling anchor real quick and we're going to go up to Green Turtle from Powell Cay. That way we can re-provision. We took a look at the weather and it's changing a bit, so we probably won't be able to get into Green Turtle for another week. So we decided to go today, get some more stuff, and then we're going to go to Manjack, and we will probably be at Manjack for several days, maybe 5 or 6 actually, just to ride out some weather that's coming, and then we'll head south. So hopefully those plans can hold and the weather calms down like it's supposed to, but we'll see. There's supposed to be like 15-foot waves on the Atlantic side, so hopefully it won't be too bumpy, but it's supposed to be like 30-knot winds. We'll be somewhat protected, but we could get some swell from the Sea of Abaco. So hopefully we're in for some days where we can just get some work done and get some things done on the boat and not just be bouncing around all day. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so it's about 5:30 in the morning, and I just got up and I felt something weird, and it's been blowing really hard all day, and we anchored and put out about 70 feet of road, and about 2 hours ago everything was fine and went back to sleep. It was about 4, I think, in the morning, and woke up and we have dragged anchor I'd say about 150 yards, and we dragged probably within feet of another cat, but wanted to get a little clip. I'm not sure what to do because it's blowing about 25 knots right now, and I doubt we're going to get the anchor up. I don't think we're dragging anymore, but that's a little scary. We haven't dragged in a year, and to find out we did, and right by this huge cat that was maybe about 100 feet behind us, and we probably went right by it. That was my only concern about dragging anchor tonight, was that we would drag because of the wind direction, so we must have gone literally within feet of it. Whew, okay, so we're going to assess and take next steps, if there are any, until it calms down a little bit. But right now it would be very difficult for us to get the anchor up, but we may have to and re-anchor. So that's where we're at. Okay, so yeah, we probably dragged about, I'm gonna guess, about 150 yards. That's a pretty decent amount before it caught again, and that's a really new experience for us. So it's 5:30. It'll be light out in about an hour, maybe a little less. So I think what we're going to do is just wait till there's plenty of light and Chris and I can communicate easily. We don't have any obstructions behind us, so even if we drag some more, we're not going to go into anybody. We're just going to be a little farther out into the Sea of Abaco, and that's not a huge concern. So we just want to be safe when we're pulling up, when we're weighing anchor again. So we're going to wait a little while till it gets light, and then we're going to attempt to re-anchor back into a little more protected, back into the bay, so we're more protected, and throw out more road. This will be the highest wind we've ever weighed anchor in, so that'll be a challenge. So a little scary. It's a little tricky to communicate when you have such high wind, and so we're just kind of running through how we're going to do this. I think Chris is going to take the wheel, and I'll be at the bow pulling in the chain. But because of the amount of wind, it'll push the boat around pretty quickly, and it'll put a lot of load on the chain and hands, and things have to happen pretty quickly. So this will be good practice for us, but not the most fun for sure.
I wouldn't really call it practice.
So as you can see, it's starting to get a little light out. Now I can tell we probably dragged about 200 yards, and that was probably in under an hour's time. Because I got up at 4, I think around 4, and looked, and we were fine. And then Krista got up maybe half an hour, 40 minutes after that, because something spilled. And she said things still look like it was fine. Now that we can see pretty clearly, yeah, we covered some distance. So we were about 50 yards in front of that cat. We were in between that boat and that cat, right about there. So that's at least 2 football fields. At least. Possibly 3. That's a long way to drag in under an hour. Kind of scary. Blowing pretty good. The wind seems to be picking up again. Now we're looking at 27 knots. That's good. It's a good wind.
Well, it's finally light enough, so we are gonna start pulling up the anchor to go a little bit further in for a little more protection. Scary night thus far. Hopefully this goes well. We know it's not gonna be super easy, but it's gonna be an experience, that's for sure. We're gonna get started, and if we have to, we'll just lay the anchor down again, but hopefully we're able to pull it all the way up and go further in.
Good job.
Anchor's up, it went okay. Now we gotta repark. So we've re-anchored about 100 foot of chain. She's dug in hard, so we're feeling pretty good about that right now. We are pretty much in the same position we were before, and you can see how close we are to that cat. Yeah, so that's where we drug from, which is like pretty scary. But the light is out, we're feeling good right now, except we got back and we noticed that the trimaran on the beach is no longer on the beach. I think it's tied up to a tree, and I think that's what's holding it. It looks like its stern anchor isn't holding it all. So, well, gotta go take care of that too. It was a scary and difficult night, but we made it through relatively unscathed. Next up on the to-do list, fix our anchor alarm. After securing the trimaran, of course.
Okay, so Bert and I went out and killed some fish, and I decided I'm gonna cook for the first time in a while because I got no idea what I'm doing. But I do have some directions. Mashed potatoes?
No, because then I have to dig everything back out.